Greetings, everyone. Grand Rising, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're joining us from today. My name is Naa Amerley Asante-Armar, and you are with us today on Saturday, the 6th of February, for a special live discussion on the day which marks the International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation. Instituted by the United Nations in 2003. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We are streaming live from Ghana, Nigeria, and the US. On the Power to Our Mothers Foundation Africa page, the Global Pan-Africanism Network Queens Club page, and you can also find us on the United States of Africa YouTube channel. So whichever platform you are watching us from, a warm welcome to you. Please take the few seconds to like, subscribe, follow wherever you are, and share the broadcast with somebody, because you never know who you can impact in a very special way. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I am joined today by some amazing women. We have a few more joining us, but today we're having a conversation about what the world would look like without female genital mutilation. Some of you are used to tuning in with us on the Tuesdays, where we talk about this subject, the problems, what it is, why we say that they have harmful effects. And so we'll get into some of those things today. But today, another focus is really for us to look beyond the problems and to really create together a vision of what our world would look like, or what we would love our world to look like if female genital mutilation did not even exist. It's good for us to have something to aim for, that vivid imagination, that vivid picture. Greetings, Sister Leah. Thank you for joining us. So without hearing too much from me, I'm going to be asking my guests a number of questions, and each of them will introduce themselves before they speak. The first question I want us to look at, considering we're marking the International Day for Zero Tolerance against female mutilation, the first question we're going to look at is, what does zero tolerance for female genital mutilation, what does that look like for the individual? So we're going to start with Sister Fatima. Sister Fatima, please do introduce yourself to our audience before you answer the question of what zero tolerance for female genital mutilation looks like for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, morning, evening, depending where you're joining us from. My name is Fatima Umar Shehu, and I am the CEO of Rhythm and Flow Studio. It is a fitness stuff for ladies. And I am into a lot of things. I have my hands in many pots. Child's rights, women's rights, everything and everything to protect, promote our women, our ladies. I'm into that. And then the health, fitness, mental awareness. I'm also a mental health facilitator. So everything, like I said, everything and anything women. Anytime call me, I'm up for that. And without taking much of our time, to go straight to the task for the day. I was born on 25th of Sha'ban. This is the Islamic calendar. I use Islamic calendar for my birthday. So I was born on 25th of Sha'ban, 1390, which makes me 52 now. I'm a mother of two. I've been married for 27 years. And I'm a happy person, and I like to spread that joy to everyone around me. And so basically that is me.
Thank you.
And talking about, you're welcome. So talking about zero tolerance, what it means to me is when ladies, when women, young girls, young female children are able to decide what they do with their bodies. They're able to be in total control of their bodies. So there is nothing like somebody coming to mutilate them. They are in total control. So this is what for me zero tolerance is. They being in control, total control of what happens to their bodies. In a nutshell, that is it for me.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that because there will be a fair few of us. So thank you, Sister Fatima. Sister Dr. Lulu, please introduce yourself and answer the same question.
Good morning from San Antonio, Texas, where it's nice and cold. I've never been called Sister Dr. Lulu before, but I appreciate that. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Malnutrition. I'm a board certified pediatrician, and I am a mom, and that's how I came up with that word. And yes, it's actually a registered trademark in the US. If you look up the word malnutrition, my picture will show up, or maybe my kid's picture will show up. And so the beautiful thing about what Sister Fati said is when some more about myself. Okay, so I'm an author, I'm a speaker, and I'm all round activist. I think if there's anything that people are fighting for, I will be usually in the front fighting with them. And after we've won or lost, I'll be like, wait, what are we fighting for now? Oh, I see. So that's the kind of person that I am. I'll lend my voice to the voiceless, period. And that usually happens to be the girl child. But as a boy mom, I have a different spin to it. I have to include our boys because a lot of times in Africa, where we come from, where it's patriarchy all the way, men still make most of the decisions. While they might ask their wives to join making decisions, but a lot of times the men still call the shots. So I'm all about empowering the men to be feminists. And if you don't know what feminist is, it means equality of sexes. That's all. It's a little bit different from feminism. But I want our men to know that we are equal, and therefore your men's rights are women's rights, and women's rights are girls' rights, and girls' rights is everybody's rights. So I usually come from the angle of what about the men? What are they saying about this? And so for me, zero tolerance for FGM means what does every individual person at the grassroots level, what are your thoughts about it? And if it was you, would you like it to happen to you? And if the answer is no, then that's zero tolerance. So for me, I'm all about everybody together saying no to FGM. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll go with the prescribed Dr. Lulu. It's like affectionately calling you. That's so funny. I just made that up. Sister Najara, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please do introduce yourself to our guests and do let us know for you, what does zero tolerance for female genital mutilation mean?
Greetings, everybody. So my name is Naa Amerley, and I come from Kenya. I'm currently living on the slopes of Mount Kenya. I'm not sure whether the country got the name from the mountain or the mountain got the name from the country. Yeah, so that's where I live. I have a podcast show where I talk about the womb, and I state that that we are womb men. That is spelled WOMB, man, because we are human beings. We are human with wombs, and everything that we do in our entire lives rotates around our wombs as womb men. So how old am I? I'm 57 years old. I have 3 children and 1 grandchild, and I say alhamdulillah to that. What is my viewpoint regarding zero FGM and zero tolerance? I usually come on the side of knowledge, because a lot of the time we think that FGM is a culture which is African, a culture which is Muslim in nature. And when we fight about it, we usually point fingers towards a wrong culture. But this is not correct. We do not have a situation where our cultures are to blame for this. So for me, zero tolerance is talking about our cultures, whom we are, and talking to our girls, to our mothers, to our fathers, because the men are part of this, and explaining to them, listen, this has got nothing to do with your culture, this has got nothing to do with your religion, okay? This is a mutilation of the body, and we need to stop it, and we need to stop it now.
Thank you so much. That was very succinct. We have looked at it in some detail at some other point, and for our viewers, where they can find some of that information, we will repost a link to one of the episodes we did where we did talk about the origins of FGM being inherited by the Africans from Rome. So look out for that reposting of the link so you can watch that episode. Thank you, Sister Najjar. Welcome, Sister Josephine. Please do introduce yourself to the audience, you know, where are you based? And then please let us know, for you, what does zero tolerance for female genital mutilation look like? Let me check that you're unmuted. 1 minute, Sister Josephine, because we can't hear you. Just a minute. Okay. Are you there, sister?
Hello.
Yes,
Hi.
we can
you
hear
hear
you
me now? Good.
Yes.
So I'm Josephine Dirias from Kenya, from a community called the Maasai community. I am a mother of 4 beautiful girls, and I'm a passionate lady on human rights, specifically women's rights, because in our community, women exist to be seen, not to be heard. So I want them to know that they also have a right to have a voice. So zero tolerance to FGM to me mean a lot, because one, to me, it means women being free, women being valued for who they are. Because as a Christian, we say like God created us with his own image. So there is nothing wrong with us remaining intact. We don't want to be mutilated. So I see freedom in a world where there is no female genital mutilation. Thank you.
Wow, that was extremely succinct. I obviously asked a very pointed question. I love it, because then it means that we will get to hear from everyone about everything. So yes, I would add my 2 cities worth. 2 cities worth is where for female genital mutilation, it is not looking away and trying to pretend that there isn't a problem. You know, it is speaking out when other people may not be so courageous to speak out and to say, no, it is wrong. There's no justification. It is wrong. It could be speaking to one person. You don't know what effect you have on that one person to say, but no, this is not right. For them to start thinking, but why is it not right? You know, you never know what seeds we are planting when we speak to people. So for me, it's using the opportunities that are available to all of us, those of us who feel that we are able to have a voice and to speak our voice, we share that. We say no when, you know, we don't believe in something. We are talking about female genital mutilation. And to the extent that we can, we, like as I'm doing today, we bring our sisters together to join, to support one another and to support each other, to see how far and wide the message can go. So summing up, you know, what we've covered, you know, the knowledge, the information, it is being truthful with ourselves about what is the actual situation, not what we think is the actual situation, because our grandmother, our great-grandmother, our great-great-grandmother, and beyond them, it seemed that, you know, a fair few generations have gone through this. You know, it's to ask the question. It's perfectly okay for us to ask the question about what we're living now. Is that how we're supposed to be living? I love what Sister Fatima shared about zero tolerance, meaning that girls and women are in total control of their own bodies. When we go to the other questions, I'll share why I think that that is so obvious, but obviously not the situation that we are in. Dr. Lulu, I love the take that you had and Sister Najjar shared later about empowering the men to know that, well, they are part of this. It's this women's issue, women's quote unquote women's issue. It's a world issue. You know, it affects all of us in some shape or form. So each of us must take our responsibility. Sister Najjar, the fact that we have to be straight, you know, that no, this is not attacking your culture, because the culture was not ours to start with. It's not attacking your religion, because this was not ours to start with. It's being truthful. Like, where did this come from? And what really is the damage that it's doing, not only to the women and the girls, but actually to the world. If you realize that we are the ones that we have to bring forth the life from our bodies, and we are mutilating these bodies, these vessels. And Sister Josephine, so short and sweet, but the fact that, yes, as women, you said valid, absolutely, we're enough. Like, we were created whole. If we believe that whoever your creator is in your eyes is formidable, omnipotent, then you would say that that creator doesn't make mistakes. So how we came through, this is how we're supposed to be. We're intact, you know, this is how we're supposed to be. So thank you so much, ladies. What I would now love to for us to look at is, for anybody that missed the beginning, I said that today I really want us to get into basically once, not if, when we stop and we put an end to this practice, what actually is the world that we would love to live in? You know, once we've gotten away from what we're trying to get away from, what does our world look like? Sister Fatima, would you mind sharing, you know, what is your image of the world without female genital mutilation?
So that will be a world where we have our sisters, our women, you know, being confident, being in control. Remember, the world already, when you look at it, females are already taking a lot of burdens. Number one, they are the ones who have the kids. That on itself is an extra burden, even when we talk about gender equality. However you look at it, women are taking extra burdens, having children, taking care of the children, taking care of homes. You find out that when the man is working, he makes the money, comes home, and he expects everything to move in the house. But a woman, even if she is the breadwinner, you find out that she will be also running the homes. So you find out that women already are doing a lot. So without all this burden of female mutilation, you find out that number one, confidence is high. Number two, self-worth. Number three, the way you treat others. Because you find out that when you are depressed, when you are suppressed, when you are intimidated, you find out that you give that back to other people. So you find out when we don't have this in the world, the women are in a better position, to give the best to the world. And remember, a woman makes the society. So if you have the woman that is in this perfect situation, giving back to the society, then certainly we're going to have a better world where crime rate will be low, where you find out that people's dependency on drugs will be low, where you find that people are looking for other ways or other means to give satisfaction to themselves because there is a void that is missing. So once you have this in the life of the woman, you find out that everything is going to flow and the world will be a better place. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Fatima. Dr. Lulu, please do let us know, what is the world in your mind? What does it look like where there is no female genital mutilation?
Thank you for that question. Yesterday during the event, or rather after the event in Nigeria, I posted in a few Nigerian Facebook groups just to kind of just whet their appetite and see what are they saying. One of the girls that responded said she has a friend who is a mother of 3 daughters who was promoting FGM. She said that the mother, which is her friend, said that that's the best thing that could have happened to her, that she doesn't enjoy sex, that sex is bad, sex is dirty, sex is all this, and she's going to make sure her daughters get it. And so I think it also suffices to say that we have somehow connected FGM with sexual pleasuring, which is fundamentally patriarchal, that a woman should not enjoy sex because they put negativity to sex. Anybody in the world, when you walk in the room, your sexual energy is what you radiate, whether you know that or not. And sexual energy is not about sex. It's about the power, your own vibration, your own unique energy is your sexual energy. And by doing that particular, I could see her in my mind's eye saying, yes, I don't enjoy sex. Sex is bad. It's so not right. It's fundamentally 2 wrongs that will not make a right. Thinking that by potentially infecting your child, causing strictures, because I'm a physician, so I know strictures and causing urinary incontinence, and just even there's nothing good about FGM. let me just say that it is so not right. And then there's so many misconstrued information, conspiracy theories going around. So a world without FGM means a clean world where we appreciate each other for who we really are and what we really bring to the table. Because that woman is so confused that she thinks that this thing she's doing is and I can only imagine how painful even having sex, which is supposed to be a natural thing, will be for such a person. And when you have a negative energy, wherever you focus your energy is where you become somebody help me. Where you focus your energy on is what makes you, is what you are. Is that what I'm saying? It's what it's who you become because you focus your energy. So I could just see how. And when you said something about countries, I think it was Fatih that said countries, the world will be a better place. I want you to take a minute to just look at the 6 or 7 countries that have women as the president or prime minister or at the helm of affairs. Just take a moment to look at those countries and where they are today because of the feminine energy, again, that is brought to them. Feminine energy means sexual energy that is brought to the table, to the boardroom. Because they are free to think, they are not shackled by ideas that, if you're not genitally mutilated, you don't have the formula. I don't know if I'm even making any sense, but suffice it to say that it is not good, and therefore a world without FGM is a world that is progressive, a world that is thinking with the right intentions, and therefore bringing the right energy to the room. If you can change the energy in the room, you will change the energy in the world because the room is your microcosm. Does that make sense? Thank you.
It makes perfect sense. Let me let everyone get their word in, and then I'll come back to you. But heard you loud and clear, Dr. Lulu. Thank you so much. Sister Najara, please do share with us what is your vision for a world without FGM, female genital mutilation?
Okay, and first of all, I just want to thank Dr. Lulu, because this is exactly what I speak about all the time. A world without FGM is a world where we know whom we are and we know who our cultures are. Let me go back to education. We have been told that FGM is for our betterment. But the root, let me just say it out here. The root and the reason why we have FGM today in Africa is because it is a slavery practice which was brought to us by the Romans, okay, in 146 BC. They traded with slaves. This is a very, very old culture. It's over 2,500 years old. Now, among we as Africans, children, both male and female, were castrated. And we call the males who are castrated eunuchs. And the girls who are castrated are called what? FGM. The reason castration and the removal of these reproductive organs was so that these children, when sold, could be slaves for life. Servitude for life. For life. So now, in a world where we understand and know this culture, we will begin to start looking at ourselves from a different perspective. We are not slaves. We stopped the habit of castrating our boys and indenturing them into lifelong slavery. In the same way, we need to stop enslaving our girls and giving them the mark of slavery. And in this way, we will start also looking at those tribes that refused to take up FGM. Why? These were the royal tribes or the leader tribes, because they understood that if they needed to continue with their family, there was no way that they could do what? They could castrate or mutilate the reproductive organs of their children. So this is a world which is free of, and our cultures and our customs and our history.
Wow. There's a conversation in each of those things, our customs, our history, our culture. Thank you so much. We'll come back. Sister Josephine, please do share with us, what is it that is your vision of what our world would look like without female genital mutilation? Let me just, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I'm on now. Okay, so for me, women are the backbone of every society. And a world without female genital mutilation gives women power in the first place, because the moment they go to the in between our legs to mutilate us, they're like telling us there is something wrong. There is something wrong with the God creation in women. There is something wrong in a woman. And for you to be complete, you need that card. So a world where there is no female genital mutilation, we will be nurturing our daughters knowing that they are perfectly good and created well with, they don't have any deformity. And that tells you that these girls will grow knowing that, yes, I'm well, I'm a normal human being, and I can achieve whatever I want to achieve in this world without not being limited simply because I'm a woman. So I see a powerful world where women are able to, to achieve whatever they want. And of course, where women are empowered, the world is empowered. Things change. We laugh and nurture this world. But now, with the FGM, people are being we are being corrected as if something is wrong with us. So if we are able to do away with FGM, then definitely the world will be the best place to be. And I think I beg to leave. I'm sorry, I'm attending another event in a few minutes, but I'm with you guys spiritually. And I know one day, one time, we will have a world with no FGM. Because I always say, wrong is wrong, even if everybody believes it's right. So I always say, let us sing an endless song until we make our society free from FGM. Thank you.
Sister Josephine, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I know you're involved in other activities marking this day, so thank you for your contributions. We'll see you back again for one of our live discussions. So all the best for later in the day.
Thank you.
There are, let's see, it's good when we paint up this collective picture. It's very powerful. So I'm just going to our viewers and what it is that they are sharing with us. One moment. So I'm sharing this comment for Sister Leah. I see a world where women will see more value in themselves, love themselves more, and realize the important part they play in this world. Yes, I think that that resonates and echoes with everything our panelists have shared and still are sharing. And another sister Denise, education, self-love, and compassion for ourselves and others will bring about change. The Creator makes us all perfectly. Who are we to mess with that? Indeed, as we were saying, it's very ironic how it's very contradictory for somebody to say that you're not complete as a woman until we cut something off. To me, it doesn't compute in my brain. I don't understand how we got to that reasoning. Of course, there is a reason for it. We're living it, but I just wanted to mention that. I'm going to repeat these because these are the things that we need to embed in our minds when we're thinking about the problems and the solutions. It's like, where are we trying to get to? Sister Fatima, just confirming us and what is shared with our viewers that they'll be confident. We as women will be more confident, have high self-worth. And I love what you said about, and that will impact the way we treat others, because as within, so without. It's very funny that as women, as mothers, we give to everyone, and I would like to assume wholeheartedly we are trying to serve everyone. Then when we are so deplete in ourselves, I would say that it's limited. What we can give to other people is limited. So in a world that you're sharing, Sister Fatima, that we have high self-worth, we're confident, everybody else gets the benefit of that confidence and that high, that high vibration. Dr. Lulu, that's a whole nother episode. This negative connotation, like you said, that has been put on us by patriarchy, as in, women and sex, like we're not allowed to enjoy sex. Sex, the most natural thing on the planet and the most powerful form of creativity. we're not allowed to enjoy that one. You know, it's like, no. So we have to reclaim that. So in a world where we don't have female genital mutilation, and coupled with what Sister Najar was saying about in a world without female genital mutilation, we know who we are as Africans, as women, as human beings. You know, we know who we are. And so we know that we're connected with all things natural because we are part of nature, especially everybody's part of nature. But as for us that reproduce nature, there's that other element as well. So I love it. And I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Lula, I think what you're trying to say is something like how our focus creates our reality.
Yes.
Like what we focus on, it's like that's what we live.
Yes.
So I hear you. I hear you. And powerful when you said that we would be living in a progressive world. Oh my goodness, a progressive world. You know, anybody would think that with our intelligence, well, let me just speak about my personal view. I would think that, you know, we're supposed to be so intelligent, so far advanced in everything that we would be a lot farther ahead than we are. But sometimes I look at the life we're living and I'm thinking, are we living in like medieval times, or, you know, way back before that, like really primitively, you know? So progressive, absolutely. And the fact that there will not be this mark of slavery, it won't exist. You know, we think of slavery as people being forced to do things either against their will and for no pay, you know. But the very fact that your body has been marked, mutilated for life, just so you can serve somebody. When we think about the connection they make with, you know, like you say, sex and pleasure, it's like, oh, so we're supposed to serve our men for life, is actually what they're saying. No, we're coming to rewrite that one. That is not how it's supposed to be. You know, we in our most natural form and our natural origins as Africans, we know, or maybe we have to get to remember, we knew that our men were our men. They had their roles. We respected and appreciated those roles. And we knew that our women, our womb men, they had their roles, and those roles were respected, and we did not compete with each other. We complemented one another. So that's another thing. When we don't, in this world where we don't have a female genital mutilation, and I think one of you, maybe Dr. Lulu, had said it before, is that we're equal. Equal, or at least equitable, because we're not built the same, but we're definitely of equal value. We're of equal value, absolutely. Everybody's got something to bring to the table, you know. And so that's such a world. And Najar, I think you said is that it's free. It's like a free, everybody can, like true liberation. You are the one that dictates what happens to your body, you know. You have your own right. You can exercise your own will without somebody or men feeling like it's disrespectful or you're not being submissive. I think even those words we would have recrafted, we would have redefined all those words, you know, to be about mutual respect, like mutual respect and appreciation for what everybody has to come, you know, to the table. We still have time, which is great, because I would love to ask you now. There's lots of things to do, but for each of you, I guess, what are you most passionate about in terms of, if you had to choose, what one thing do you think we should, or you would like to focus on to create this vision of the world that we are creating, a world without female genital mutilation? Sister Fatima, would you like to share? What one thing do you think we can do to help create that world?
For me, it will be advocacy. Advocacy, you know, to get people to see the benefit, to get people to see the ills, and to get people to see the potentials, to get people to see where you can be without this. And we do this through advocacy. So we are not fighting the cultures, we are not fighting the religious settings. because as we all know, the genesis is not really even from that. So whatever people believe in, whatever they are comfortable with, we don't fight that. We go through advocacy to make them see reason. So for me, it's advocacy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I see we definitely do need that. Dr. Lulu, for you, what is your one thing that would help us create that vision of a world without female genital mutilation?
I think it's to educate the men, and I like the word advocacy. I didn't want to, say the same thing that she said, but to educate the men, but also to speak up and challenge the norm. I think a lot of times we get comfortable and we say, well, it's not my child, or it's none of my business, or something like that. I think we should just challenge the norm and ask people, and maybe even be tolerant enough to say, well, you know what, help me understand that. That's the best phrase I learned from Larry King. I was watching his biography, and they were saying that one of the things he used to say was, help me understand that. Help me understand that it's not challenging. Help me understand that it's not why, but you really want to say why. But you're like, help me understand. Help me understand that. And then that also shows some degree of vulnerability on your part. And then that way, if you're not if you're not charging at them, then they are more likely to engage than, you know what, forget it. And then you still forget it, and nobody learns. Just say, help me understand, why you would think that that's okay. And then educate them. I like to say educate, but educate them, and especially educate the males, the men, the boys. I mean, to be our own allies. Not all men. We don't have enough of them that are our allies. And ironically, the slave masters, I don't know that they still do that. I've only lived here for 29 years now. I haven't really seen them doing that to their daughters. I've never, with my two eyes, and I've been a pediatrician, so I've seen a lot of newborn babies in 30 years. That's a lot. Less 30,000 newborn babies. If we do, 10,000, is it 1,000 per year? I've never seen this done in their own children. And this is another thing why I know you said, slavery, but I think Robert Nestor Marley said, emancipate from mental slavery. That's the one that we still have. That's why we're still doing it now. That's why no matter how advanced we think we are, mentally, we're still enslaved enough for a woman to say, yes, she likes it and she's going to make sure her daughters do it. It's a different level of, I know Angela is like, yeah, it's a different level of mind work that we need for that woman to get her to even begin to understand why.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I was saying, yeah, that's a whole level of cognitive dissonance. It's just mind blowing. It is, wow. But yes, I love that about the allies. And when we do talk on this platform, it's not like, the men are the enemies, because we realize that it starts and ends with us. That's why we're women on here on this platform. It starts and ends with us. For us to have allies, we are the ones that have to get them, So I love that. That, yeah, they're not our competitors, if you like. But until we have more of the women that realize that this is actually not doing anybody any good, I don't think that we will see the change that we want to see. But let me not jump the gun. Sister Najar, for you, what is the one thing? It may be building on what you've said, but what is the one thing that you think will help us to create this world without female genital mutilation?
Thank you so much, Queen Naa Amerley. So I will repeat what Sister Fatima has said, Shukran Sana, and what Dr. Lulu has said, which is just education, education, education. Let me put it this way. We have a host of cultures and customs and beliefs where we are told that to fit in and to be accepted into that particular society, we need to conform to the rules and regulations. Or let's put it this way, when in France, you do as the French do, right?
French.
When you're in Rome, you do as the Romans do. So when we're born into these cultures, we're told, okay, as a girl, you know, you have to fit in, you have to go for FGM because this is the culture, this is the custom, and this is the belief. And what we are basically doing, when I say education, it is to educate, re-educate. Can I put it that way? Re-educate, because you've already been educated. So this is to re-educate and to explain. This has got nothing to do with who I am as a person. This has got nothing to do with the woman as a person. Because when we practice FGM on young girls, what we are telling them is that we do not accept them until they have their cut. So we are telling them they are not acceptable. So for me, it is about education and educating the woman and the girl about whom she is from a very young age. Instead of performing FGM on her at 6 years old or 7 or even 16. And then for her, Dr. Lulu, you know this, when she's getting married, okay, during the marriage day itself, the marriage night, you know, becomes a horror. And she's probably lying there wondering, so why wasn't I told about this? Okay. Mentally, it also harms a woman because she starts asking herself, so why did I go through this? Why did my mother make me go through this? Why is society making me go through this? So you see, what happens is that this girl now starts asking questions about her value as a human being. So this is why I keep saying that education is key. Because once we know who we are and when we value ourselves as African women, once we value our cultures and our history, right, we gain what is known as confidence. Now, a confident woman is a strong woman because she knows who she is. And there's nobody who can come up to her and tell her, hey, you need to do this and that. She's going to say, no, I know who I am. You don't give me no bullshit. Sorry for the language, okay? But this is why I keep saying that education is key and we need to talk more and more and more to our girls and to our women so they can stand up and look at their papas and look at their husbands and say, listen, if you want to go and cut off you can go and do it, but I'm keeping all my parts because I know who I am as a woman. So education.
May I say something? May I add something to that? I found the post while I was. This is a brand new one that just came in, a comment that just came in 20 minutes ago on the post. 20 minutes ago, I put the post yesterday. She says, I was circumcised, and I still remember vividly how it went. It was a terrible thing to do to any girl child. She's just now saying it. Now, I have something that's going to blow your mind, Najar, and even Fatih, and really everyone. I went to medical school in Nigeria. I went to ABU Zaria. During our GYN rotation, my classmates, we're going to call her Lizzie. During the GYN rotation, Lizzie said, wait, why is my vajayjay different from everybody's vajayjay? she found out during her medical school rotation that she was circumcised. I want you to see how recent this is. She's my age, 52 years old. I mean, and then this girl, I was just looking at her profile. She's 27. So, I mean, this is so recent. And then she's thanking me later on. Thank you so much for talking about it. Thank you so much for bringing this topic for us to discuss. We just have to know that these are real people. This is not statistics. Yesterday, they blew my mind with the statistics in Nigeria. They said Nigeria has 115 million of the 130 million cases of this thing. And that Nigeria and the Southwest has 77%. Sister Fatih, you watched it, right? Am I saying what the lady was saying, the numbers?
Same. Yeah, because really what we would have thought that it's higher in the north.
In the north?
That has been the thinking, higher in the north. But really, 77% in Nigeria is from the
Southwest.
So this shows you how ignorant we ourselves are about the happenings in the country. And this is why we need to do what we are doing. We need to talk. We need to take statistics, find out about it, because we can't continue sweeping it under the carpet.
But here's the thing, and Sister Najar, I think you should. We can't hear you. I think this is why we're having this conversation, because yesterday opened my mind. That's why I said, Sister Angela, you need to join. You need to join, because I wanted you to hear the statistics from the United Nations and then from the minister herself. It blew my mind to the point that I had to say, yes, my mother. Remember, I said that, Sister Fatih. My mother is from Southeast. She was mutilated. But she said, no, not my children. We have to speak up. We have to be able to say, no, it's not going to continue. No, our mumu don't do. So thank you for this platform, and thank you for saying that, because my classmates, we used to laugh at her. I mean, not in a bullying way, but it was a story to be told, because it was like all of us were like, oh my God, let me see. I mean, I wanted to see. And then she let us see, because she was also letting us, because that was my first time ever. I didn't look at my mother's own, but I saw my friend. I said, oh, where is your clitoris? I mean, it was like, oh my God. And this is something that we cried when we saw it, because we felt so bad for her. But she didn't. She was like, wait, mine doesn't look the same. And so I want whoever is watching to hear the passion in my voice and hear her pain, finding out as an adult that her body was not complete, and she didn't have a choice in it. It was not her choice. It's okay if I say at 32, I want to get a tattoo or I want to pierce my, that's my choice. But for you to do this for someone without her having a say in it. And another girl posted that she used to enjoy. I was really, I'm telling you, I felt when I was reading it, and I don't want to commandeer but one of the girls actually commented. She said, she said, this FGM was a ceremony here in Delta State. I enjoyed them as a child. I said, what do you mean enjoy? Then she now broke it down to say that she enjoyed the festival, which is it was a party. It was a party. They paraded the girls. It was a party. No.
Yeah, there's a whole lot, and I will definitely have Sister Najara and I will have you on when we have the regular live, when we can set up a time, so we can, if you like, look at a focus for Nigeria and some of the other countries as well, because we have that's the thing, the information out there does not match the information on the ground, and that's where this kind of confusion and everything thinks it is. Like, we used to talk about the fact that they call it circumcision. Circumcision makes it seem like it's medical, when we know it's got absolutely no foundation in that at all. So our language, how we're enslaved by the language, the terminology that is used. Sister Sheila is saying that we need to speak to the women as well who are actually involved in the process. That's a whole nother conversation. And Sister Najara and I have spoken about it in the past, that we need to realize almost the courage, I would say, Sister Najar, if you wish to comment after, you can, almost the courage it takes for us to do that, because what I have learned, and I'm learning with the amazing women that have come to speak to us about this, is that, imagine, it's just like with our parents. Here we'd be talking about our mother or our mother figures. You know, when you're a child, like, your parents are everything. Your mother is everything. You know, you uphold them. They are your gods. And then to go and find out that you have undergone something so drastic, so abhorrent, so harmful, and then to look and say, but hold on, who is it that allowed for this to the very God, your parents, your mother? It is traumatic. It is traumatic. So we talk about, there are things that, we say out straight, but we also have to realize the mental, emotional, I'm sure, and I know all of you can speak about, but the mental, emotional trauma that comes with this realization that, you know, like they say, enlightenment, as in just learning the truth, it is painful. It is really painful. That's what people don't tell you. We sit here, yes, we want to go to the light, we want to know the truth. It is painful as heck. You know, and we have to work through those things. So yes, conversations do have to be had with our fellow sisters who, in their conditioning, in their beliefs, there's something in there that still drives them to believe that this is something that must be done, because they've had it handed down to them by their, I'm using the word God, but by characters that are so fundamental to their existence. They're not going to just dismiss it like that. That is what we're up against, you know? So whereas it's just to show the different perspectives, we can sit here and think, another woman did that, you know? But a child would be like, my mother did that to me, you know? That's enough to, I would say that's enough to kill somebody. That is enough to, like, be so traumatic. And you and your respective expertise, but even from my perspective, that is enough to completely, what's the word the Americans like, discombobulate somebody, like completely unravel somebody.
Yeah, and I will say sever ties, and you can literally sever ties with your parents, and we know what that does emotionally. And also it's physically painful because that part of the body has the most number of nerves because of what it does. It has the most number of nerves, and therefore the most excruciating physical pain, and then emotional pain. And it's a combination. So you're right, because I work in the suicide arena, you can literally kill yourself because of that, because it is childhood trauma. It's trauma. It's not funny on any level when you find out that someone you trust betrayed your trust so much so that they were okay with this. I mean, I hope anyone watching, please, it is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Thank you, Sister Najar. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then and this is the thing, when you, because the girl, she's a female, okay, and we females, we have and we hold what is called a lot of emotion. I call it energy in motion, okay. So we have a lot of energy in motion, and there are so many thousands of girls who are suicidal and depressed because of their FGM. Now, who will they turn to? Who? Because it is their mother or their family that has done this to them. So when they start to understand, they have no one to turn to. Yeah. So this person is telling them, oh, so why are you feeling so sad? Why are you feeling so overwrought? You know, control your emotions. You know, it's normal. And this is why so many of our girls are suicidal. And that is why so many of our girls are depressed. And that is why so many of our girls are raising children, babies, as depressed mothers. So this is something which is continuing, because You know, I thank your mother, Dr. Lulu, because she said no. She understood. She understood. And she said no, she's not going to pass this on to her own daughters. But for those daughters, there's this thing of, where do I go? What can I do? We had Queen Naa Amerley and I, we had a story of a woman who had undergone FGM, opted to not cut her daughter, but the mom called her and asked her, so what would you do if your daughter was, yes, isn't that a threat from your very own mother? What do you do? What do you do in such a state? And we do not talk about this. We don't. We just say, oh, just stop the cut, you know what? But we do not look at the mental torture. Who are we as women to be treated like this by our own goddess, our own family, our own parents? So we need to attack this education and say, nope, this wasn't ours. We need to stop it now. We need to stop it now. We need to stop it like right now. We need to stop it. And for those who have undergone the cut, we need to educate them and hold their hands and tell them why they cannot let this continue any further. It's not just the cut. It's not just the pain. No, it's far more. It's emotional and it's spiritual and it's physical.
Absolutely. Wow, we could be here for the whole day. There's always plenty to talk about. What I was reminded to say is that for me, and picking up on what you've all said, my one thing as to how we create our world without FGM is to bring the sisters, the women together, to be hearing, discussing, and learning about this. Because what I've observed and seen and heard from our fellow sisters, like I said, this is relatively new to me. And to see the reaction, to see how we then take on the concern, the proximity is much closer. And we realize that, oh my goodness, another woman somewhere is suffering, and I feel that. That is the only way, we don't realize what, for the people that question, why is it that, women with the majority of the population and yet so many of us are suffering? It's because there's a whole link somewhere that are so suppressed that they are suffering trauma on a daily basis. We all have different levels, but we think that, oh, women, a gender thing. We are connected. So when Sister Najjar talks about we are men with wounds, for that experience, we are connected. The women that are abused, the children that are abused, we feel it. We may not understand what it is. Sometimes we go through stuff and we don't understand. We are feeling our sisters, our mothers' pain wherever they are. This is why it doesn't matter whether you've never heard of it anymore. It is affecting your life. You just don't know about it yet. So my one thing is to have all the sisters coming together wherever there's a platform. We have one here. Next time it's Dr. Lulu's platform. Next time it doesn't matter where. The fact is, we need to realize that this is not as distant to us as some may lead us to believe. It does affect all of us. By the very point that we are the ones created to give life. And the last thing I would add before I allow you all to say a closing message is that my world, for me, the world without female genital mutilation is the one where we have gone back to being fully at one with Mother Nature's. Birth is effortless. Babies, are much more healthy. Sorry, one moment. Babies are healthy. we put an end to, at least from this perspective, we put an end to the generational trauma. We're not birthing our babies with depression. We're not birthing them with low self-worth. We're not birthing them with inadequacy, feelings of deformity. Like, you know, the ripple effect is huge. That is a world where we do not have that. So I'm so thankful to you, sisters, for joining me today. Please, each of you, just leave your parting message. We will be back. We have plenty more to talk about. But for now, please just give your parting message before we wrap up the show. Sister Fatima, please do go ahead. Oh, unfortunately, we've lost Sister Fatima. I'm sure she'll try and come back. I'm just going to take this comment where Sister Ingrid is saying that we have to prepare for a time of conflict and confusion before it gets better. Each of you, Dr. Lulu and Sister Najjar, you're free to respond to that if you wish in your parting message. For me, what I would say is that's exactly the reason I said enlightenment is tough, because you always get confused and there will be conflict. If it's not internal conflict, there'll be conflict out there. It's life. That's the way it goes. You don't get to make a smooth transition. That isn't life. So as long as we're aware of it, then we can support one another, because we know that there's going to be conflict. We know that some of our survivors who have spoken on this platform, they've told us about the conflict that they have been, either because they underwent FGM and they decided they're not going to let their daughters go through the same, or because they didn't go through FGM and they were ostracized for their community. Like, conflict and confusion is a given. But at least if we can come together and support one another, for me, it's a very powerful place to be in. Dr. Lulu, what are your parting words for our audience today?
I think it's very straightforward. I do have to go and respond to the lady. I dare to say, if you internalize that there will be conflict, your thoughts will create your results. I say there does not have to be any conflict. I don't see any other sex or gender being okay. Of course, there are only two, being okay with being mutilated. I choose to see that there will be no conflict. And I wish Sister Fati was here, because I happen to be from Southeast. Everyone who commented on my post was Southeast or West. So they are the ones that are doing this. So I dare to say, because I can, these are the parts of Nigeria where there's a strong patriarchy, baby. Strong. So the behavior is being propagated because we don't have enough of our men saying, no, don't do it. And this is the truth, almighty truth. My mother, whatever happened to her father gave the green light. I'm sure of it, because she's the first daughter. I'm the first daughter. I know this as much as I know. If her father had said no, it would not happen, because there's a strong patriarchy in the eastern part of Nigeria. I dare anybody to tell me that I'm lying. If my grandfather had said no, it would have never happened. Well, guess what? My father's father said no. He had 8 wives and numerous children. None of them were circumcised. My mother's father either didn't care or was like, whatever. He had 2 wives. His daughters were circumcised. So if the men will speak up a little bit more all day, these 3 boys are feminists. They don't play when it comes to equality. We have to empower our men. We think men are the stronger sex, but we see that they are not. So we need to empower them. Sister Najjar said, oh, don't say that, honey. I am 52 years young. You can say it because it's true. We think they are the strongest sex, but we know they are not. If they were, Adam would have never eaten the apple. Now let me hear something, okay? Sexual energy, baby. Thank you very much. Mic drop.
Mic drop. Sister Najjar, my dear, what would you like to leave us with?
Having a good laugh. She's like, oh,
yeah, I'm having a good laugh because I just don't want to argue about the fact that no, I'm not going to argue about it because there's nothing to argue about. Listen, the letters are S and then HE, which is more. The letters are womb and then man, which is more. I mean, you know, the letters are FE and then male, which is more. You know, I'm not going to argue about this. It's just a fact. So my closing is this. A lot of people, a lot of the cultures that say that they need to mutilate their daughters to raise the price just need to understand that this is a slave culture, and the reason why the price goes up is because you're selling your girls into slavery, where all they're good for is work, 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 but no babies. No babies. Okay? And I'll ask everybody here to actually go, and it might be hurtful, but go Google and look at the difficulties that are presented to the girls during two occasions. One, their marriage night. How the heck do you think they have a honeymoon? Okay? And the second thing is this. When they're giving birth, there's this thing which is called dilation. Now, you go and find out what happens to a woman who has been stitched up. And then come back and tell us if you think that FGM should still continue or if it's a cultural thing. That's one. Two, most of these cultures, the men are what are called, they take care of animals, their herds, goats, cows, camels, all these. Could they please go and sew up their female cows? Can they go and sew up their female goats? Can they go and sew up and burn, clothes their female camels? And then wait and see what happens. So that's my closing.
Thank you so much. We should be back on Tuesday at 1 p.m. with the regular discussion on female genital mutilation and its harmful effects. We are more, the audience have seen Sister Najjar before here. Dr. Lulu, you have been asked, where can people find you? I'll just put this comment up there for you. Dr. Lulu, I think you're on mute. I can't hear you unless it's just me.
I'm sorry, I muted myself because I didn't want to laugh out loud. I was just enjoying Sister Najjar. She's just so, I thought I was crazy, but I love her. She's the yin to my yang. I love it. And so actually, if you look up Dr. Lulu, pretty much anywhere you find me. On Facebook, I go by Dr. Uchenna Ume, which is my full name, but also I go by Dr. Lulu. My Facebook page is Dr. Lulu or Ask Dr. Lulu. I am a pediatrician, but I'm also a coach for parents and children, teenagers, especially with depression and mental health challenges. So that's kind of my niche right there. Anything that causes pain, and epigenetics, which is transgenerational trauma. My TEDx talk is about trauma. It's about the effect of trauma on suicide. The fact that we, as parents, a lot of times we are the source of trauma. I'm not afraid to say what is the truth, whether it's by yelling or by beating or by allowing things like this to happen. However it is, we are inadvertently usually the source of the trauma. And so when a child kills themselves, the source of trauma is within 100 feet from where the child is standing. It's usually their family members, either by ignoring them or by disowning them or by just even causing the sexual trauma on top of everything. The girl child has really suffered a lot. I mean, we can have this all day, like Sister Angie said, and we'll never finish. Where do you want to begin? Where do you want to begin? And then when you now have a child and you're not yourself fully there, you can't fully mother your child. So I am a parent coach, and because of that, I know if we can get the parents, the children are fine. A lot of times, if you can get the parents, the kids are okay. And so thank you so much for having me here. I do have a special niche, which I don't mind saying, because another thing that we look down on is just the issue of sexuality, where people just don't want to be allowed to just be free to be who they are. And so I am so thankful for Angie for just going to talk about the difficult topics that people don't want to talk about. And so find me, just Google my first name or my last name, you will find me. It's not very hard. Thank you so much. Hey, she's back.
Okay, Sister Sheila, I'll connect you. Okay, Sister Fatima, you're right on time. Please do leave our viewers with a parting message before we wrap up the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad I came. I was able to catch you before you leave. So my parting message is to the women. Women are always the custodians of all these practices, whether good or bad. Women are always the custodians. So we have to stand up. We have to speak with one voice. We have to reject it. We know that this has no medical benefit. We know this has no social benefit. So why indulge in it? When our daughters come to give birth, especially those that have gone into stage 3, you know, there are different stages of this mutilation. There are some that they actually do cut and then stitch up. So when they come to give birth, you find out that a lot of them lose their lives, they lose the babies. So why put them through that? So please, ladies, we are the custodians. So let us take this up. Let us work together as partners and stop this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sister Fatima, Dr. Lulu, once again, Sister Najjar. We will be back in some other guise, but otherwise the regular female genital mutilation and its harmful effects on Tuesday at 1 p.m. GMT, 4 p.m. EAT. Dr. Lulu, we will arrange with you and Dr. Fatima to get a time that we can all be together to have maybe a Nigeria focus.
Yes.
Cool.
And I'm glad you said that, because Sister Fatima, I wanted you to know that I know exactly what you're talking about when you say something about the North, because I am from Southeast. My mother is Southeast. Everyone that commented on my post was Southwest. So it's not even a northern thing. But see how, if you don't get the facts, you just get thrown off to the left. Sister Najjar hasn't given her final words though.
Oh, she did.
She did? Oh, okay.
That was the rather vivid example of finding farmers with cows and
yes.
Visuals are good. Visuals are very good, very powerful. So a special thank you to everyone for tuning in today, for sharing if you shared. Please, you can still share the broadcast after it's finished. You never know by one share how many lives, even if one life matters. We're on a mission to stop this, and it starts with one girl, one woman. So thank you again for tuning in, for interacting, for engaging. Join us on Tuesday at 1 p.m. GMT, and look out for more broadcasts about this issue. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I am Naa Amerley Asante-Armar signing off. Thank you, Dr. Lulu. Thank you, Sister Najjar, Sister Fatima.
Bye.
Bye. Najjar, nice to meet you.